In this example, we're going to look at how we go about using a media resource, or media source rather. This tutorial is kind of going to give you a real basic, quick overview of how to set up a media source, how to assign it to a template variable, and just kind of a practical use for it on most of the websites that I use it for with my clients. A lot of times, whenever you have a template variable in MODx, say for example, if you have an image where someone can upload an image to the server, there's an image that shows up on the home page or wherever it is on your website. A lot of times the problem is if you don't specify where they're going to put the image, they're just going to stick it in the root or stick it other places. So let's, for example, open up this template variable. As soon as they open it up, it shows them the root directory with the core, the manager, everything, which they're just going to start sticking images all over the place, or files, or whatever it is, that they're uploading to the template variable, which is very problematic. It's going to get disorganized. There's a possibility they could, what if they say, oh, what is this connector? Let me delete that, I don't want that there, and what if they delete a directory? So that really becomes a problem. You really want to kind of lock them out of sensitive areas on the website. So let's look at how we go about containing and defining where they can upload template variables. Well, it's very simple. All you have to do is go over here to, let's see, Tools, go to Media Sources, and what we'll do is we'll create a new media source, and I'm going to call this one, in this particular example, I'm going to call it Image TV, and we'll just call it, a description defining where image TVs are stored on the server. Source type is going to be file system, and we'll go ahead and save that. Alright, so let's go ahead and edit this. We'll go, and again, I'm just right clicking and I go to update media source. What I'm going to do is I'm going to define the base path where people are going to be able to put the images. So I click on it, right click, and I go to update property. And I'm going to say we have on the server a directory called client files in the assets directory. Let me just check here the server real quick. We've got assets, client files. Why don't we just make it so they can upload to client files? That'll be good enough. And again, you can get real particular if you say, well, the images go inside a image directory in client files, or PDFs go inside of a directory called PDF, which is inside of client files. I mean, you can really start funneling this down and kind of really quickly being able to control where certain document types go. It's really powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And I'll also do the base URL. I'll do the same as on that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit done. So we've modified these two. I think everything looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll come over to the template variables. And we've got one already called images. And this we use this template variable on a lot of the pages on the website where people can upload images for different uses. So what I'm going to do is there's a tab called Media Sources, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to assign, see, I'll double click this, actually, one second. Let me just make one small, sorry about that, had to do a quick change, but nothing that you'll have to do, just something on my end. Okay, so what I've done is I've clicked on the Media Sources tab inside of this template variable. And if you double click this, box is going to pop up, and I click and I'll choose image template variable. I'll go ahead and save it. Okay, so now that media source, what you've done is you define where is that particular template variable going to be able to, where will it be stored on the server. And again, this is really useful for helping control where clients put things to keep things organized. So let's say, for example, on the services pages, say there's a template variable I want. So let's go ahead and assign this image template variable to the services, which services has the template name services. You're defining it, okay, it can go in this template access, or that rather has access to this template. So let's go ahead and open up services. As you see, it has a template called services. So we scroll down and there's our template variable. Now, when we click on it this time, instead of showing us that whole root directory, which we saw a second ago with everything in there, and the possibility of them uploading things where it shouldn't, it now just shows them that one directory was specified, which is in files. Well, rather than client files, so it's just telling the user, hey, you're in this directory now. So when they click on it and they say okay, it's just going to load it right up. So that is where Media Sources comes in handy. It really helps keeping the site clear and free from clutter. And again, let's just pretend you had a PDF instead of image, and you wanted the PDF to go inside a directory called PDF instead of images. Well, you can control that. So that, in a nutshell, is Media Sources.